I was going to apologize for the overcrowding of this room, but probably the news didn't get around that Bill is going to be here today. Anyway, I'm privileged to have two remarkable ladies to converse with, an opportunity one doesn't get very often. Bill Zafar and, of course, Asma Nabil. Most of you know Bill Zafar. For 20 years or more, I've known her to entertain us with wit, humor, song, dance, you name it. She has the gift of the gab like very few people have, and of course she has the wit to go with it. First when I got to know her, it was a mimicry. She could mimic anybody, anytime, anywhere, at the shortest of notices. And that endeared her. But then later on I discovered she's a great singer also. I don't know why she didn't go into that career. She is an expert in exploiting our accents, our idiosyncrasies. Whatever we do, she can find an angle to make fun of us. And somehow or the other, we have always enjoyed it. We didn't mind our legs being pulled by Bill, because I think she has an endearing personality that everybody loves her. Damn. Now, the most interesting thing about this lady is that she recently appeared in a film called Cake, in which most of the time she's in... There you have it. So it seems some people have seen it, Bill. Yes. So in Cake, the remarkable thing is that she's in a coma. And even in a state of coma, she provides comedy. So how can anybody do it? I think this is the extraordinary quality that she brings. And yet, unbeknownst to all of us, there has been some other hidden side to her personality. I certainly was taken quite unaware when this book appeared. And if you read it, it's heavy going. There's too much angst in it, there's pathos, there's passion, there's so much to think about, and just one stops and thinks, is it the same Bill, or had she got somebody to write it for her? I know that is not the case, but it's very sensitive poetry, a lot of pathos, and it induces a lot of us to think about our own frailties and our prisons that we create for ourselves. So this is quite an extraordinary event for us to view this in this new light. Now, the other problem, but the other issue is that there is a lady here who managed to provide an interpretation of this book of poems, Asma Bibi. Now, it's not a translation, it's not an explanation, it's not an interpretation, but it's something else. Somehow or the other, she catches the rhythm, the rhyme, the meter, and the ethos which Bill is trying to convey in a language which is accessible and which is understandable. And I really have been very impressed by you, Nabila, the way you've done it. She, by the way, those of you who don't know her, she's a playwright, lives and has produced such series as Khani.
Yeah.
Since I have not seen them, mispronunciation may be allowed. And she has achieved all this while facing a personal battle against cancer. So that is again a very brave thing for you to do. So before we get started, I just wanted to give you a little taste of what is to come.
Let's see what he's picked.
And the poem is called At Odds. Another rhythm, another rhyme, a place of clarity and closure, of confessions and disclosures, bereft of posturing half lies, and the dread of exposure, of their exposure. My cries for sense, they make no sound. Thoughts are dense, the speech is bound. The only clarity I can see is that now is not the time to be released from the state of misery. Now, this is serious stuff. And I was thinking about how it affects myself also, you know, all these, we hide a lot of things within ourselves which we can't share, although we may want to share. In the Western culture, there is a psycho who can analyze you. Yeah. They are called psychoanalysts. But anyway, in our culture, most of these things lay hidden in us. Now, here is the point. Now I'm going to read the Urdu part, which I hope proves the point I was making. Now, सब कुछ कूजे में बंद करे, एतराफ़ गुनाहों का, सच से पर्दा उठाने का, आधा सच बताने का, पूरा सच खुल जाने का, मेरी चीखें समझने की, उनमें कोई आवाज़ नहीं, सोच बस पत्थर हुई, लफ्ज़ों पे पाबंदी लगी, एक सिरा जो दिखता है वो मुझसे कहता है, ये कहता है, वक्त ये तेरा नहीं, चाहे कर ले तू जो भी, दर्द की इस दोज़ख से अभी नहीं अभी तू निकल सकती. So this is I mean certainly yes, thank you. So this is quite a heavy stuff from her part and then from your part. So you come out to be a poet yourself. So anyway, since time is limited and there's a lot to cover, we'd like to go through this book with Beo. And I was just I thought I'll ask her a few questions, and I think there is an opportunity to recite verses from the book, and she'll make the selection, and the people who are going to do that. So since I've known Beo for 40 years or something, I want to ask her, why this U-turn? You were, or was there always a flame of angst in your soul that was hidden from all the people who saw you laugh and jump and dance and all that sort of thing? So what happened?
Well, you know, it's the nature of life. Life is not a straight line. And as a culture particularly, we want to show that everything is fine. But I think when the comedian, you've heard of Robin Williams and you've heard of so many comedians, they transform tragedy into comedy. They're healers, so this is their job. But whenever you feel things acutely, you'll feel them more than the average person. If I make you laugh more, then I have more laughter in me, but if I cry, I will cry buckets. So it's just two ends of the spectrum, really. So it was always there.
It was always there, but I mean, somehow or the other, you hid it very well.
Well, that was my way. Yeah, that was my way of sublimating a lot of absorption of pain of life. I'm a healer, so मैं लोगों के pain को absorb करके transform करती हूँ. So, but when I take on everybody's pain in order to heal it, I'm actually in pain with their pain, and sometimes I can get physically sick with it. But it's who I am, so there's no fighting who you are. This is what I'm meant to be. Then I must take the pain and I must heal, and those are my challenges.
So, what triggered the dreamer to awaken?
Well, very, very clearly, as it's dedicated to my mother, the book. I was a time waster, to be honest. I was a dreamer. I would dream everything and not do it, just know for the sake of knowing. And my mother used to say, if you write, you should be read. If you sing, you should be heard. And if you dance, you should be seen. Jungle mein mor nacha kisne dekha, you know. So after she passed away in 2005, up till then I was, because God gifted me with a quick brain, and I was just doing everything but not giving it any impetus or importance. But after her death, I think the child in me died, really. I think when our parents die, the child in us dies, and that's the pain, because as long as there's Amma, Baba around, you know, you stay a child. And sorry, I get disgraced myself, but ignore it, okay?
We have
I have the tissue dabba here. So if you want to howl, you can howl with me, okay? So when Ammi went, so fast forward, I did everything. I wrote the book, I did this Bar Bar Beo, I did like 17 years of stand-up comedy in the US. I did my serials, I did everything. And when I wrote, I naturally write in verse. Whenever I feel something, it comes out in verse.
You think in English.
I think in English, Desi kutte te valati chika, what can I do? I'm just sadly. So I was dreaming of this woman like for 10 years. And there was nobody to, I used to wonder कि मेरे ये जो words हैं जो इतने heartfelt हैं, how would they sound in my own beautiful language? So one day Asma came to me like a year ago when I was in Karachi. She came to me about doing a film with me. And that's about a 4th stage cancer survivor daughter and a stand-up comedy mother whose positivity picks her out. By the way, she's a 4th stage cancer warrior, survivor warrior. So give her a big hand. And she does a lot of work for this cancer vagera. She can talk about it later. So my Dreamer Awake book was lying there. She read the first poem. She said, मैं ये ले लूँ, मैं खरीद लूँ. मैंने कहा नहीं, ले जाओ. Can I translate it? And you know, within 2 months, all the poems were translated. And when I read the first one, I was crying so much. I called her up at 1 in the night in Pakistan. I was in London. And she said, मैंने इतना बुरा लिखा है, अब रो रही है. But I said, no, you've done it. And that's how first Dreamer Awakes was born, and then Bedari.
Bedari. Thank you very much. I think these are very valuable additions to what we know about you and generally the things that it evokes. I think I would recommend it to everybody to have a look at it, read it, and draw their own conclusions. Now, I'm going to stop there because we have got 15 minutes left, and Bill and Asma, perhaps you can recite some of these things. And my suggestion would be that when you recite it in English, please ask your friend to do it
That's
in
how
Urdu.
we do it, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So ahead we go.
So I'll start with the title poem, which is called The Dreamer Awakes. And you know, when you're not doing something you know you should be doing, but you're justifying not doing it, so there's a bechani. So that's where it begins. When did I start to know that this was not quite where I had planned to go, that a kind of pain was there to stay, and it would not go away, just would not go away? When did I fall over that lurking land's end into the orbit of stark reality? When was it exactly that I stopped believing that it would all be perfect in the end? And the repeated pattern stood as tragic testimony to my knowing. For where was I to find in those dismal repetitions that healing horizon, the shaft of light, the rainbow? It crept up on me, the knowing, took me unawares, as I was about to step into another magic circle of self-deception, another soothing procrastination. It was the circle I could not find. I tried and tried, I wept and cried. An old friend, it seemed, had betrayed me. The old friend was the circle of procrastination, dreaming, the self-deception. No hope would come, no song, no saving dream, no knight in shining armor. The distress lost its gloss. The tragedy lacked pathos. The audience did not applaud or weep with empathy. Reality, the awesome enemy, claimed me. Gagged and bound, no ally from the misty past saved me. Some sort of show was over, this I knew, but within the fear was there a kind of ecstasy.
Wow.
Assalamu alaikum ji. I'm feeling really humbled and बस बीओ का शुक्रिया है क्योंकि बीओ के अल्फाज से जिनको लेके उर्दू की और जहाँ भी जाती हूँ तो सब यही कहते हैं कि ये कैसे हुआ मुझे नहीं पता. मेरा ख़्याल से जो मेरा अपनी ज़िंदगी का बेदारी का या जो एक टफ़ टाइम मैंने गुजारा है कैंसर के ट्रीटमेंट में, आई थिंक दैट वाज द टाइम वेयर मेरे अंदर की जो एक बेदारी या एक अवेकनिंग है, बिकॉज इट चेंज्ड मी एज अ पर्सन एंड इन अ गुड वे, एंड आई एम वेरी वेरी थैंकफुल टू अल्लाह कि वो आई थिंक टफ़ टाइम मुझे भेजा, क्योंकि वो टफ़ टाइम आया तो मैं एक अच्छा इंसान बनी, और अच्छा इंसान बनी तो ये सब अच्छा हो रहा है इस वक्त मेरे साथ. बेदारी जो किताब है आई थिंक मेरे उसी टाइम के लिए और मेरी अम्मी के लिए डेडिकेटेड एक बुक है. द ड्रीमर अवेक्स को उर्दू में मैंने किया था बेदारी के नाम से. आखिर कब ये जानी मैं, अच्छा ओके, आखिर कब ये जानी मैं कि ये वो रास्ता ही नहीं है जिस रास्ते मुझे जाना था. एक दर्द है बेपनाह जो रहेगा रुकेगा न कभी, जाएगा न कभी. और फिर कब मुझको उस झूठी सी अनदेखी उम्मीद ने धकेल दिया हकीकत के असली भंवर में. और फिर ये कब हुआ जब मुझे लगने लगा कि गर सब ख़त्म होगा वैसे ही जैसा मैं चाहूँगी, तो ये मेरा गुमां है कि हाँ, ये सच नहीं है। और ये जो बार बार हो रहा है वो गम की गवाही बन के खड़ा है सामने मेरे। फिर कहाँ से ढूंढूंगी मैं गम के उस भंवर में सुकून का वो समा, खुशी की एक किरण, एक कौसे गज़ा आहिस्ता से रेंगते हुए मुझ पे सवार होके ले गई मुझे उसी खामोश वहशत में, जब बस एक कदम दूर थी मैं उस जादुई शराब से, जो सच में बस धोखा था, एक और बेमायनी गुमान। वो जादुई शराब मैं कभी भी ढूंढ ना सकी। मैं कोशिश पे कोशिश पे कोशिश करती रही, रोती रही, मरती रही। वो मेरा दोस्त था जो मुझसे धोखा कर गया। कोई उम्मीद बाकी नहीं, आँखों में ख्वाब भी नहीं, कोई नहीं जो आ बचाए, बेचैनी की चमक भी मांद हुई। गम है तो मगर गमगीन नहीं, अब दुनिया भी न हंसती है न रोती है मेरे गम में। हकीकत जो दुश्मन है सच्चा, मुझको उसने यूं जकड़ लिया, मजबूर जैसे बंधी हुई कोहर ज़दा याद की कोई भी गली। मुझको देखो ना बचा सकी, कहीं कुछ ख़त्म हुआ है ये तो जानती थी मैं, पर इस खौफ के पीछे क्या एक बेवजह खुशी का एहसास छुपा है।
अरे वाह,
बहुत बहुत so let me understand it correctly. Both of you drew inspiration from your respective mothers.
Yes.
So both of you were awakened by personal experiences of tragedy with your mothers. So this way, this book of poems from both of you is actually a dedication to your respective mothers.
Yes.
it is.
So the power of mother
It's the power.
is self-evident.
And this is she's another mother of mine, you know. So
Uh-oh.
this is another power that I
I
have
have a
with
big
me.
mother quotient. इसकी मेरी फैमिली में my proposed daughter is sitting here. So हम लोग खिलाते बहुत है, खाल है. I mean you barely enter the room and you're being fed, you know. So अब
हाँ, तुम
बताइए.
क्या, what would you like to do? Would you like to continue reciting, or would
Yes,
you like somebody?
I have some very dear friends who are going to recite a few of the poems, and
Okay.
I'm just going to read the poem because it's dedicated to my mother and her mother.
Okay.
Her mother is alive, mashallah. My mother has passed away. So this is losing माँ. So अगर धाड़ ना है तो धाड़ लो भाई, ऐसी क्या बात होके रह गई. My mother-in-law always said क्या होके रह गया, never क्या हो गया, क्या होके रह गया.
तो उसको mic दे देना.
Okay, so first part I wrote when freshly Ma had gone. Second part I wrote जब थोड़ा सबर आ गया था. So in every, it's not full of angst and sorrow, hopeless. I want to say this. It's very important that it's a struggle to go from the dark into the light, from confusion to clarity. So, grieved and bereaved I stand, bereft and empty, a lifelong shade removed from my head. I feel the scorching heat of the sun beat down on me and mine. We are unprotected now, for Ma is gone. The black hole of loss gapes. I walk carefully around it, but a second of lost vigilance, and I slip and fall inside it. It's dark and cold inside the hole. Terror grips my soul. Where do I run to for succor and support? We have nowhere to go, me and mine, for Ma is gone. They look to me and I must rise, beyond the grief, beyond the loss, to take her place, to live her grace, to nurture and bless, to shelter and caress, to try and be the fountain she was. How frail I feel, how inadequate, how daunting seems my goal. Yet something new moves in my soul. An invisible presence fills me with strength, something akin to forbearance. I feel her scent. She's trying to tell us, me and mine, she hasn't gone, she never went. Energy returns to my depleted soul. The third eye opens and examines the whole. How black is it? How deep? How slimy the sides? How steep? Will it take us down forever? Will we ever again with joy laugh, eat or sleep? The answers surprise us, as cosmic truths apprise us of the perfection of God's plan. At the peak of pain and loss, and acceptance and awareness of an enormous cosmos emerges to pave the way out of the anguished pathos. Grief loses its serrated edge. The dull weight of sorrow gives way to a solemn pledge to live at another pace with her impeccable courtesy and grace, her dignity unparalleled. To celebrate her life, such a teacher, grandmother, mother and wife, was for us an honor to know. She would not have us weep and cry, but instead to reach out to the sky, be excellent in our fields, for then her soul would rest in peace.
Wow.
We call the other people.
मेरी अम्मी अभी हयात हैं, बट जैसा कि मैं लिख रही थी वो मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल टाइम था इसको उर्दू में लाना. माँ का खोना, दर्द से भरी अकेली खड़ी, जुदाई का गम बिल्कुल खाली, ज़िंदगी का एक रंग बेरंग हो गया, तपती हुई धूप में साया मेरा छिन गया, डरी हुई सहमी हुई, हाँ माँ मेरी चली गई. दर्द का काला गढ़ा घूरता है आंखें फाड़े, आहिस्ता से धीरे से चलती मैं उसके किनारे, एक लम्हा जो आँख झपकी गिर जाऊंगी उसके अंदर, अंधेरा बहुत और सर्दी भी काले गढ़े के अंदर, वहशत ने जकड़ा हुआ अब भाग के जाऊं कहाँ, कोई सहारा भी नहीं, डरी हुई सहमी हुई, हाँ माँ मेरी चली गई. अब सब हैं देखते मुझे तो मुझको उठना होगा, हर दर्द से बाहर हर सोच से ऊपर, और बैठना होगा उस जगह जो जगह तेरी थी, एहसास भी ऐसा हो जो दिलकशी तेरी थी, दुआओं का नजराना गोद जैसे पनागा, प्यार से भरा हुआ बन जाऊं वो ख़जाना. कितनी कमज़ोर पड़ रही हूँ मैं, कितना महसूस होता खालीपन, कितना मुश्किल है जो है अपना मुझे, लेकिन कुछ तो है जो रूह में है सरायत कर रहा, एक अनदेखा वजूद जो मुझ में है ताकत भर रहा, एक रिश्ता सब्र से जुड़ने लगा, मुझको महसूस उसकी खुशबू हुई, जैसे वो आई हो बताने ये मुझे कि वो तो कभी गई ही नहीं, वो तो अब भी मेरे साथ है बहुत पास. आ गई हिम्मत वापस टूटी हुई रूह के फिर से अंदर, तीसरी आँख जैसे खुल सी गई और घूरने लगी उस काले गड्ढे के अंदर. कितना है घुप अंधेरा, कितना है राज ये गहरा, कितनी कीचड़ है भरी, कितनी ढलान ये है बड़ी, कि क्या ये ले डूबेगी हमें हमेशा के लिए, या हम फिर से मिल सकेंगे, हंस सकेंगे, सो सकेंगे साथ. हैरान कर दिया जो जवाब मिला कायनात की कुव्वत ने, आगाह कुछ ऐसा किया कि खुदा जो भी करता है वो ऐसे ही नहीं होता, हर दर्द की इंतहा पर कुछ अनदेखा है छुपा होता, कुछ मान जाने का सुकून और एक आगाही की शिफा कि ये निज़ाम कायनात वही है जो चला रहा. और ये सब जान के सुकून की मंजिल मिल गई, दर्द और दुख से बहुत दूर बहुत दूर. दुख ने छोड़ दिया चुभन का तिरछा सा कोना और गम का बोझ हल्का हुआ, और पुख्ता एक अहद का रास्ता यूं खुल गया कि ज़िंदगी गुजारूंगी अब एक अलग रफ्तार से, बिल्कुल अलग अंदाज से, जैसी थी वो मासूम सी, करम फरमा दिलकशी, उसका वक़ार जैसा बुलंद, उसकी ज़िंदगी का मनाऊंगी जश्न. कि क्या कुछ नहीं थी वो, एक उस्ताद, एक घना साया, एक माँ और एक बीवी. उसको जानना किसी इज़्ज़त से कम नहीं था, जिसने हमको कभी रोने ना दिया, बल्कि हर आसमान जो हम चाहते थे वो छूने निकल जाती थी, और हम रोएं ये वो नहीं चाहती थी, हम अपनी बुलंदी छू लें, यही है उसकी खुशी, यही है उसकी रूह का सुकून.
Veo is going to ask some people to recite some selected verses. So,
I've got some, but so we have very short time.
We have a microphone here.
Could I call Parveen Malik, please? Parro? Yes, you can come. Parro, give her a big hand, please. She's head of the Asia Society, great mother, wife, friend. She's going to recite Never Never Land. Now this is sab cheez se hatke. This is about a relationship which you get into which you're not quite sure is right for you. I think we've all done that at some time or the other, either chupke ya samne.
Yes, we're all familiar with these spaces. So this is called Never Never Land. He said it would be all right. He said it was all okay. Deep down, I knew otherwise, but I could not see the way. It was easier to believe that always was forever. The comfort word was never. So no such thing as sever could ever cross our minds. I made the token effort. I protested on cue, too feeble to make a change, too eager just to continue. Silently we made a pact. to bury our faces in the sand and live in Never Never Land.
I'd like to ask Ikki Raza to come and read Grief.
It is a privilege to read a poem by Bear.
Thank you.
It is entitled Grief. Tidal waves of sorrow engulf the man, drenched and very nearly drowned. He struggles through the salt and seaweed to save his breath. After the water recedes, he stands cold, alone, and bewildered, because for the life of him, he does not know from where the deluge came, or indeed when it will come again. He tries to regain his composure, but within the effort he is certain that this is not a closure, and that a repeat is a given, the cyclic forces driven by a very grand design. A resignation and humility in the face of inexorability finally settles in, knees bended, making him, unbeknownst to him, just as the Maker intended.
Thank you. Can I ask Shaida Asfar, please, to come and read a poem which is called In Retrospect, which is for all aunties like us. We can look back on our life and see. This is a very late auntie stage poem. Thank you. This was at one point, but when I read the poem, I could relate to it very deeply. Irrelevant now, the specifics, the names, the faces, the seasons, the places. Irrelevant now, the angst, the joy, the targets, the ploy, the planning, the scheming, that once was the way. So what is left, if not the name, and not the face, if not the season, and not the place? Relevant only somehow is what you were then and what you are now. Baba kare. The very Falaj Brigade audience.
Chaos to clarity. Equations fragile, paradigm shifts. You had presumptions of a certain security an instant ago, but eyes have changed, silences have grown ominous and thick. You don't know what to make of it. Permutations and paradoxes, dichotomies and pain meet in a tricky confluence. Congested, confused, submerged, and suffused. You are flooded with unsorted data. Till that substantial penny drops in the turgid cauldron of your comprehension, and all at once you understand that magic healing word. Scabs of bewilderment scuff off to reveal that shining pearl of your wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to read The Fall of the Icons. They fall like dominoes, one by one, suddenly, unexpectedly, in undistinguished plops, making no sound, mighty and strong. An obscure and tepid series of nondescript flops. Alas, the icons, how they fall.
Yay! This man, boy, is going to be an orator. Don't
All right, absolutely.
I'm going to ask Meher. Meher, the beauty, is going to read. She's going to read in Urdu. Unfortunately, देखो देसी कुत्ते थे वलैती चीखा भरे में सब इंग्लिश में पढ़ रहे हैं. Sorry, Asma.
It's okay.
Okay.
की दुनिया. उसने कहा सब सही होगा, उसने कहा, हाँ सब ठीक ही तो है, पर मेरा दिल कुछ और कह रहा था कि रास्ता है थोड़ा सा धुंधला। उसे मानना आसान था कि जो हमेशा है और है हमेशा के लिए, कभी ना हो सकेगा। इस बात ने दे दिया सुकून और कुछ तोड़ने को रहा है बाकी, ये सोच नहीं अब आती। मैंने थोड़ी सी कोशिश कर डाली, हल्का सा शोर, हल्की सी आवाज़ बहुत कमज़ोर पड़ गई इस बदलाव को समझने के लिए और बहुत मुश्किल में आ गई इस साथ के संग चलने के लिए। और फिर खामोशी से एक वादा कर लिया हमने कि अपने चेहरे को दफन कर लेंगे रेत के गहरे समंदर में और जीते रहेंगे ख्वाबों के इस जहान में, और जीते रहेंगे ख्वाबों के इस जहान में, क्योंकि ये है ख्वाबों की दुनिया।
Thank you. Thank you.
मान गया ना? एक रह गया कोई।
Thank you so much. Thank
So
you so
I
much.
think we have run out time.
We have run
out of time, and out of courtesy for the people who wait us for this room, I'd like to thank everybody. But above all, I'd like to thank Asma
Thank you so
and
much,
Beo
sir.
yourself
Thank you
for
so
this
much.
remarkable evening.